Georgina Sally Jenny was the baby of her family, the youngest of 5 siblings. Her father was a brigadier with the Royal Engineers, and he died when she was only 6. Her mother raised the family in Surrey after that. When she was still very young, just 15, she meets Richard Challen, 21, who was a car dealer. They married in 1979 when she was 25 or so. They had 2 sons together, David and James. They were married 31 years, and apparently it was awful for Sally. In November 2009, she moved out of the house after finding out that Richard had been visiting prostitutes. Their sons would insist to their mother that she should just stay away from him, but she wouldn't. She wanted to patch up her marriage. On the morning of August 14, 2010, she went back to the house. Richard wanted her to sign an agreement that morning. The agreement would cut any rights she had to the family home, worth about £1 million, and it got more ridiculous from there. The agreement contained conditions that she not interrupt him, and that she not talk to other people if they were together in a restaurant. She went to buy food because there was none in the house, and she made him some bacon and eggs. While she was out, she called him, and the phone was answered by another woman. While he sat and ate, she killed him. She beat her 61-year-old husband to death with a hammer, hitting him 20 times or so in their kitchen. Then he covered him up and left a note that said, "I love you, Sally." She left the home the next day, intending to take her own life at Beachy Head. When she got there, she called her cousin and told her what she'd done. She stood at the edge of a cliff there while a chaplain and a suicide prevention team tried to talk her out of jumping. She had a trial in 2011. She was convicted and handed a life sentence. She was described at the trial and by many in the media then as a controlling, jealous woman who planned out the death of her spouse for cheating on her. In 2015, though, coercive control, a form of psychological abuse, became a criminal offense in England. Sally's sons would confirm that Richard was always bullying their mom, always humiliating her. He isolated her, separating her from friends and her own family. He dictated who she would be allowed to socialize with. He controlled the money, even the money she made. He would not allow her to go anywhere without his knowledge and his permission. If she questioned his cheating, he would question her sanity, gaslighting her into believing she was mad. The criticism was constant, no matter who else was listening. She was dependent on him, and after a while, and she was also very afraid of him. He had her convinced that all he was doing to her, all 41 years of their relationship, well, that it was normal. It wasn't only loving sons that would reveal the abuse. Neighbors confirmed that Richard treated Sally as if she was his possession. In February 2019, after nearly 8 years in jail, her conviction was quashed. A retrial was ordered, based partly on a number of undiagnosed mental health issues Sally had at the time of the murder. Bipolar disorder, dependent personality disorder, and adjustment disorder. These, as her sons would attest, would develop over time, the likely result of the intense psychological and financial abuse she'd experienced since her teen years. And she still loved Richard. He still had some control over her, even from his grave and after all those years. At her second trial, she pleaded not guilty to murder, but diminished responsibility to manslaughter. The plea was taken, and she would be sentenced to 9 years, 4 months, which she'd already served. She was happy but terrified at the same time about how she would make it on her own. She has, though. She's moved in with family, took vacations, enjoys her grandchildren, visits friends, whenever she wants, for however long she wants. And in that, she is not only free from her prison cell, she's free for the first time since she was just 15 years old. Because she had killed Richard, she was not entitled to anything from his estate, worth about £1 million. However, a court in May 2020 ruled that, despite the killing, she could inherit the estate. Several other homicide cases were set to be reviewed by the Criminal Cases Review Commission as a result of what's happened to Sally. And she's remarried to a man she knew as a teen, a man who knew of Richard's abuse and offered to testify for her at that first trial, a man who makes her coffee every morning, who treats her as his partner rather than his servant, and who understands that his wife is gentle and kind and deserves to feel what it's like to be loved in marriage. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying these videos and want more, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any videos. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.